So here we are, right? Late night, another session, guys. Great session, and I'm with the musicians and the magicians.
Right.
And you know, me and you talked during the week, Tom. We talked during the week, and you know, I appreciate you coming to me and like asking me, you know, hey, I know you've been through this, and I wasn't through it in the music scene, but I was in a business scene, and it's the confusion in the marketplace thing, and. What'd you go through there, brother?
I called you. I was emphatic, right? I was. What happened was, someone contacted me about a show and said they were going to come see me at a show at Adventureland because they bought tickets, and I didn't know what the show was because I'm not a part of the show. So I'm listening, and they go, you know, can't wait to see you, and we got tickets, and you know, and I said, really? Where am I? Where am I going? What am I doing? Because I didn't know, and it turns out there was a tribute show at Adventureland. It's $100 a ticket for a drive-in show, and it's a Heart tribute and a Led Zeppelin tribute, Zeppelin Complete, which I was the lead singer and the founder of that band. And I walked away, and I walked away about 14 months ago.
Okay.
So I noticed they had a couple of local small shows, and here we are. And now it's a show, and I'm saying, let me look into it. And I go to the event page, and there is a video of myself singing all these songs in a big theater.
Oh, no.
And they're selling tickets on my voice and my likeness. So I'm saying this is not good. I contact one of the band members, and he said he didn't know anything about it. And I thought that's interesting. So
Which is possible if
okay.
Oh,
So he didn't know
I'm
anything
not
about. So I said okay. I contacted the promoter, and I said, look. You know, you've got consumer confusion going on. You know I'm not part of that act, and you're letting people buy tickets based on this video that you're playing, and I'm not performing. I'm not going to be there, and you're making a direct profit on my voice and my likeness here. And they said, well, we'll take. It was almost like they were waiting for me to notice. Because he said, oh, yeah, well, we'll take care of that. Sorry about that. So I said, sometimes you don't react. You want to sleep on it, right? You say, I'm not going to react. I'm going to sleep on it. And I woke up.
That's wisdom. Sometimes that works.
And I was thank you and thanks for your help, guys. Appreciate it, you know. And I went to sleep, and I woke up, and I was really angry about it. And I'm thinking, you know, you guys, everyone knows that I'm not involved in this thing. And you know the video you're playing.
Well, be careful when you say that. Everybody knows you're not involved in that thing. Actually, your argument.
No,
Your
I mean
good
the people
friends
that
know. Your friends that know you know that.
No, I mean the people that.
And they're
promoting it. In other words, the promoters know that I'm not the singer.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Just legally, that's why he wanted you to say that. Because if you say everybody knows, then why would they buy tickets thinking you're going to be there?
No, everyone knows that's promoting this thing.
Everybody involved in that
he's
end of it.
in
Gotcha.
that aspect.
Yeah.
He's not going to be here. So why are you selling him? Right? You're selling him for a direct profit.
And for a band to do that too is kind of odd. Like, you know, if you have a new product, then
you want to announce the new
sell
product.
the new product. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, look, we got this new thing, like new and improved. So that was weird.
Well, it's not new and improved. You know,
new.
Right, but in other words,
New and not you.
in other words, if I'm the new, like Paul and I spoke about this, if I'm the new guy, I'm saying after a year, why are you still playing his videos? What about me?
Right.
I'm the new singer. Like, I'm wondering, I would be like that. I'm saying he's probably pissed off also.
That's a game we like to call good news and bad news.
So anyway, I wake up and I'm feeling like I'm feeling angry here.
Used.
Yeah, because nothing was done. So now we go on a day, now we go on 2 days, now we go on 3 days. The video's never taken down. and the show's still selling tickets. And I'm saying, this is crazy. So Kevin said, look, it looks like who's Marshmallow was the creator, the copyright owner of the video.
Right.
And I said, well, that's a friend of mine that shot all the footage. He said, well, he can change that link. And I call him. He's in Chicago. And I call him and I discuss it. And immediately he says, this is really wrong. And I'm taking this down immediately. They're selling tickets on your likeness. And they never should have done that. And within a half hour, the link was changed. But no one even attempted to stop it.
Yeah. It's a good thing.
It's always a good thing. So, and I know that you've had the experiences too, but I was mentioning to Kevin that there was a situation where Jay Black and the Americans, Jay had a problem with gambling, and it took his career down. And the judge decided that his name had value. And he said, in an attempt to pay back your debts, you could sell your name. And he sold his name. But then he came back and started performing again. And that's when they changed the laws, because what happened was there were two Jay Black and the American shows going on at the same time. So they created, and that was about maybe 10 years ago where the laws changed, and they said, we have to stop consumer confusion. And if Kevin's going to be there and Paul and Thomas, then we'll create a way where we can tell people that these are the guys and those are not the guys, so that people don't come and say, hey, what the hell, you sold me that and I got that. So it was finally, I was through my means able to stop it, but who knows how long it would have gone.
Sure.
And I didn't want it to be a lawsuit.
You never want it to be a lawsuit, by the way.
But the thing is,
Not in that law, because there's too many nooks and crannies of copyright law. Trust me.
Yeah.
There's too many. The good part is, as
What's
I
the
told
gain
you,
either? You know?
the gain is actually you have to wait and see the damage done and then get back the gain. And the nice thing about copyright law is that you do get back your cost. It's the only law that's applicable to. What you spend in expenses and lawyers comes back to you.
this is where I thought we differed, because you kept saying the copyright thing, and I said, this is not about
It's all about copyright.
Okay, I understand that, and that's what you had reiterated. But the point is this. You're going to stand behind a copyright and say, I own this video. But you're selling a product that doesn't exist. So that's
There's a
where
confusion
the
in the
consumer
marketplace aspect.
confusion plays in. You could say, I own the video, but you don't own this guy's voice. You don't own his image. And he's not going to be performing at the show. So how do you say I own it when you're selling something and giving something else?
Good point. Yeah. I
Right.
understand what you're saying.
So I thought that's where copyright has to end. Can I just say I own the copyrights to something and then promote it when those people don't exist
I have
anymore?
to tell you, it's a really interesting case, because on top of all of that, you're playing somebody else's music in the video.
Right.
Yeah, but that's been accounted for through ASCAP fees.
I get
So
that.
those are always paid. So that's a legal
Yeah, but
thing.
when the copyright, so when you had your copyright, did you have individual copyrights with different rules for each member of the band, or was it just a collective band owns the name?
Well, it wasn't a
And
band
the-
name
Okay.
issue.
No, but what I'm saying as far as the copyright, so copyright.
It's not a copyright because it's got to be copywritten for it to be.
That's
a copyright.
right. So that would tend to go more towards the music and the show. So the actual the theatrical.
His point is
Presence
they're
part, that's
selling a
it.
product using his likeness. That is
right.
not
so
him.
it's fraud.
It's fraud.
It's
Right.
fraud.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because I've run into that where I've signed contracts where when I did writing and stuff. So I signed contracts and my show was put on a certain thing, and then other shows that were owned by the same company that I signed the contract with took my image, took my writing, took that and sold it to someone else and used it with someone else, and I had no right to it. I didn't even have right to my own image and the characters that I created. On the other end, I also own the copyright to Beer Vixen. Is one of my just
Copyright or
created.
trademark?
I have a copyright on Beer Vixen because it's for the stuff that I write on the internet. So that's
Okay.
more. So it's all written
Yep.
down. So I own the copyright on that. But there are other Beer Vixens, and I had an issue with people saying they couldn't follow my page. They couldn't because it was considered not safe for work. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not safe for work? It's just pictures of beer. Like, I'm like not getting that. But there was another Beer Vixen who was very scantily clad, and all you would see was from her neck down. And there was a little bit of blonde hair, and she was built similar to myself.
Oh, right.
And
right,
she would be like raising money for autism with boobies. But, you know,
Right.
it's like,
right.
you know, so they would be like, well, what's the harm in it? We're raising money for autism. I'm like, yeah, but everybody thinks that's me
That's right.
with my boobs hanging out and my whatnots and doodahs all over the internet.
right.
Because I own the copyright to that name. So now you're selling my brand. And I had like lawyers involved, and it turned into like a whole big mess. And in the end, nothing changed. So because they were like, well, you know, this part of it you don't own, but this part you own, so she can't technically do X, Y, Z. So
Very
she
complicated
can't. Yeah,
law.
it's
And
really
I didn't
hard.
want you to go into those McBag. And the way you handled it was actually perfect. If they violate that, it's a whole other game. But you got what you wanted. It's off right now, and that's the
It
way to
is-
handle it.
that's-
It's a broken.
Don't
it's a
want to
broken
go,
link.
especially in these times. Try to go to trademark court.
I have no
Hundreds
I
of
really have
thousands of
no
dollars.
wanting to do it in the first place, but I wanted it to stop because we had been doing shows in big theaters for thousands of people, and now they're playing those videos to these people that think that that's going to be happening again. And no one,
fans are
there's no
very-
retractions. There's no one saying, look, we
Right.
just want to make it clear. This is very interesting. You could join in on this, Paul.
Yeah.
When I was younger and looking for a wedding band, think about this. This is very interesting. You go to a wedding showcase and you see a band. Okay? Smarter people
Yeah.
after me
Yeah.
explained how things work because I got a band that didn't resemble anything at the showcase. And
Right,
I, and
right,
I didn't know that those things even existed.
Yeah.
What happens is the super band comes to the showcase, and then the band leader wants to maximize his potential of money. Okay? And then who shows up at your wedding is a bunch of people that you've never seen before, and it's like it's a hack.
They called those weddings screamers because the bride and groom would be screaming.
Right. Now, I didn't realize that you have to, when you go and you sign a band, you have to get a contract of everybody that you saw in the showcase. Who was thinking that back in the day? So that's where we're carrying on and saying, look, what you guys are clearly doing is selling this and giving that.
Right.
Okay.
That's
Right.
why I was asking you if you had separate contract copyright, because that would be the whole thing if the band say, well, we own that part of you. We own your
No,
performances
we have
from
nothing
this
like that.
to this, then,
No.
you know, they can
Well, it's,
use
and the videos that he's talking about are promotional videos to sell the band.
Right, but if they owned that performance, if they owned him, if he signed a contract that he,
Yeah.
same way,
No, I
and
know
yeah,
what you-
same,
yeah.
so if I performed or if I wrote something and then
Right,
that,
like
you
a
know,
work
Pro
for
Image Studios
hire-
own that.
Yeah, right.
So I have no access to it again,
Yeah.
and they can actually put it on today if they wanted
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
and start making money on it because they own that part. They can't. They don't own me now. They can't stop me from doing what I do now.
All
but
right,
they
so
own
let's take that further.
part.
Let's
Yeah.
stay with that, and now let's take a band like Alice in Chains, okay, and let's do a promo video with Lane Staley. Well, let's do it. Let's say that this is how we're going to promote the show, and what's going to happen. And the people are going to say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! He's not going to be at that show.
Sure.
What the f are you trying to sell us, Paul?
Right,
Why did you
right.
do that? Why didn't you show us the actual guy? What is the difference? There's no difference.
Yeah.
There's no difference.
Yeah.
You know he's not going to be there.
Yeah.
All right,
He can't make it.
Let's show the guy that's actually going to be there, right?
It's a really interesting concept.
It is. It is. Because think about the band Journey, right? That when they hired
Sure.
Steve Perry was out of the band. They're going out as Journey. Neil Schon really owns the band. He did prior. Steve Perry's not, so everyone thinks they're going to go see Steve Perry, but they're going to go see I forget where the kid's from, and he's amazing. He's really great.
Found them on YouTube. Yep.
Yeah, and it's not Steve Perry. So
But when their promotional videos come out, they have I think he's Philippine.
yeah,
That's true.
Ariel or something like that.
Yeah.
He's great. But in other words, they don't show Steve Perry and say Steve's coming.
Yeah.
They show the
That's true.
actual guy.
No, it's by the way, what you're talking about, and I agree with you wholeheartedly because I've been through it personally. It's an ethical thing, right? Because for you, listen, I'm not in the band. We all had the conversation. You know I'm not in the band. I know I'm not in the band, and you're still using my effing video. Knock
Right.
it off. Because
Right.
it really turns into more of an ethical thing. And then the promoter also
He knows.
he knows you're not in the band, right? Okay,
Right.
so
He knows. So,
Yeah.
let's start out with the ethical. We start with the ethical, but then the thing that permeates it is the fact that you're charging $100 a car, all right, based on my vocal. Okay.
What if-
Why?
yeah.
Why are you showing my videos?
Let me ask you a question. What if you flipped it around and said, "I'm okay with this, but I want $25 per ticket for you selling the show that way. I don't care if you do the show, but I want
want a cut.
$25 per ticket, and I don't even have to go and show up."
I would love it, but their take.
You want to negotiate that with him?
Well, that's a licensing deal. and
Their take was
is a licensing
their
deal, yeah.
take was let's run this as long as we can,
Can I-
and maximize the profits.
Can I give you my
Yes.
opinion on what's transpired here? There's been a latent laziness to promoting and producing a video because you know it wasn't easy. You went through it, and you went through the expense on that.
Yeah.
That video, if you had a friend, great. If not, that's a $5,000 to a $7,000 video.
Right.
When everything's said and done.
Right.
You know, with him traveling, whether or not you paid him or not, I don't need to know that. Nor
That's
do I.
the value.
But we know
The
that.
actual value.
The
Yeah.
value is there. So COVID can't even get together to do a video. So it's an act of laziness. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it right. It was wrong. That's what's transpired. They're hoping they don't hear you, and then you get smarter and you go to the actual source, and that's what happens. Now they have to make a move if they're going to make a go ahead of this. Who knows if they are? This could be a one-off when they go ahead.
So I'll give you a great story because I think
Go.
I think you'll appreciate it. I was working for a tribute band to you. Joe Kumi is a very, very good friend of mine, but we butt heads quite a bit. And
You and Joe, really?
yeah, we did. We fought like
So
brothers.
we should say Joe is whose brother?
Anthony Cumia.
Anthony Cumia's brother.
Yeah, Anthony's brother.
All right.
And
Radio host?
Listen, we get each other because we have that piss and vinegar. You
That's Suffolk County.
you ain't. I'll tell you something. You're not fucking with me.
Hubris.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I took a gig with him. It was at the Red Lion. I remember it vividly. And I was sick as a dog. I said, Joe, I can't go and
Is that
perform.
Brooklyn? I've been there.
No, Manhattan.
Oh, yeah,
right on. Right on.
I
Bleak.
played there.
Yeah. Great venue.
Yep.
The sound was great. So I go, Joe, I'm sick. I can't do the gig, man. I'm sorry. No. You got to do it. Da, da, da. I go do the gig, and I make it through. I made it through the gig, sick as a dog. Now, we're supposed to be going to Vegas. Now, I already played Las Vegas with the band. We did the the Legends show
Right.
at the Imperial Palace. Phenomenal. They hired us to do New Year's Eve on Fremont Street. Huge gig. We
Oh,
had already
nice
we
gig.
already just done another big gig on Fremont Street. So they kept hiring the band. Why? Because it was fucking good, right?
Right. That particular lineup.
That's right.
That's right.
So we have New Year's Eve booked. He calls me right before Christmas, and I'm like, and he goes, good news, bad news. You're not going to be performing for the New Year's Eve show. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, you can't sing anymore. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, that last show. I said, Joe, I told you I was sick, mother. So we're going at it. And he's like, listen, I don't care. You're not doing the gig. But if you want to go and hang out New Year's Eve, your flight, your ticket is still available. So I was like, okay. Okay.
Oh,
I'll see you in Vegas. So I fly to Vegas.
oh my God.
I find the promoters and I said, I just want you to know.
Holy shit.
I don't know if you know it or not, but Joe has hired somebody else to come and replace me. And they were like, what are you talking about?
Right.
I went right to the promoters and I said, this is what's going to happen. So, I mean, I took the nuclear option, you know.
Wow.
And they never hired him or me again. So he did the show and he was contracted because the way the contract was worked out, he was able to find if he could find adequate replacements. So they really didn't have a say in the matter.
That's right.
They were so pissed and upset that he did that. And then I brought it to their attention. So it wasn't like they could turn around and say, oh, well, he was sick, whatever the case may be. I said, I'm here, I'm ready to perform, and I want to do this fucking show,
And what? And you didn't do it.
And I didn't do the show because contractually he held them to the letter. He should have, because we both, and again, we probably both would have lost the gig anyway. But I was that's how pissed I was.
You flew to Las Vegas.
I flew to motherfucking Las Vegas. You ain't fucking with me, motherfucker. Remember I said, you ain't gonna out crazy me.
Never.
Never. You can't let them do it. So I flew to Vegas and I went right to the promoters. And just because I didn't want to be effed with, I don't like, and I didn't like the way it was done. Me and Joe have laughed about it since, and we, I rub him about that shit all the time. Like, you remember when, and, but I remember passing the hallway, I was like, yeah, motherfucker. Because, Joe, say what you will about him, but he'll fight, we go down,
Sure.
we're the type of guys, I'm sure you're the same way, we'll go down swinging.
Yeah, sure.
We're not the pushover musicians. Peace, love,
Right.
and understanding, no question about it.
Of course.
But if there's a violation of like somebody actually fucking with you, I believe that you do have to stand up for yourself. And I'm
course.
glad that you did that because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing on your behalf to want to defend your name, your image. You have friends calling you for crying out loud saying, I'm going to see you. No, you're not. So clearly they were misled, right? Your friends, fans.
Of course. And who knows how many were misled that didn't contact.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is a story that's not ended yet, right? I mean, so
No, this-
we're going
it-
to see.
The saga
Right.
continues.
Well, the show will happen, but the curious thing is, I know studios with stage rooms. Like there's a stage room in Farmingdale. Is it Phase 1?
Yeah.
With the lights and everything that's been open for a few months, that you could easily shoot a promo video. So you're saying like, why are you not moving to the next step? And the other curious thing is that
There's a lot of money to do those videos, like he said, and there's an inherent laziness. Hey, listen, they already got the
Alright.
package. The package is great.
And maybe
Yeah.
with COVID, they haven't had a chance
but
to
the
do
lead
shows, so
singer,
the money's
the,
not
the
there.
lead singer sells the show,
No question about
and
it.
if the lead singer is a completely different guy and you're promoting him,
And if he sucks, right, and he's not you,
I mean, I think not to demean. I really don't want to demean a bassist or a guitarist or a drummer or a keyboard player
Sure,
or
sure.
anything, but the truth is that there's a difference. In American music, it's all about the lead vocalist, and it's
Yeah.
always been. And I always said to people, and you could say the same thing. I've always said, I didn't make it this way, but that's the way it is. If a drummer was going to be a different drummer, a lot of people would say, look, it's pretty much the same. I'm not saying drums don't matter. They would say like, oh, I think that's not the drummer. But the show could carry on.
Correct.
But if you're talking
Correct.
about a lead singer, it's different. It's not because I want it
totally
to be
get
different.
it. And you're
It just is different.
yeah.
So now you get a flavor for the Sammy David saga that happened that first year where it first changed.
I was just thinking about that,
That was really
where-
Oh yeah,
problematic.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Think about that.
yeah. Another, if I can, because
Yes,
again,
absolutely.
it's so relative. My
Yeah.
band broke up 2 years ago. They left me right before the summer. No accident. They picked the right time, and I'm still like the jilted woman. Everyone thinks that I fired the band, by the way, because I'm the lead singer, right?
Of
my
course,
band.
it's your band.
It's so hard to get fired from my band. Let's put it that way. You really have to do some really fucked up things to get fired from my band, you know. But you can't be more fucked up than me. So that's one of the
I was
rules.
just gonna say, what did you do? Should I be on the other side of the table?
No, you're okay right now. You're okay right now. So the band broke up, and then they started their own thing. And they came from, their pedgree is great. You know, I don't care. Everyone knows who they are.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know, Jeff came from Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
No one
Great line,
cares.
great line.
Sawicki came from Stomp, you know, and they thought that was going to sell the band. And the kicker was, this is great, they called themselves a mashup band. Now, why you go, guys, listen, you started your own thing, it's great, but it's not, you don't even know what a mashup band is, you know?
Right.
Like, so why are you going after my thing, you know? I mean, and again, mashup bands are out there, and they it's not anything I invented. I perfected it, but but you know, like, these guys have no idea what that even means, and they were just using it to say, you know, kind of like a shot across the bow. And going further, if they would have said, hey, listen, we'll get you through the summer because it's the right thing to do. We have all these contracted dates, because all those dates that I did, I was in that same predicament you were talking about with the wedding bands, and it really sucked in the sense that I was having to go out with a substandard product, and I knew it, and I was completely
I've been there.
humiliated and mortified.
Oh my God, it's embarrassing.
Terrible. I mean,
Just trying to cover a date that you're contractually
Sure.
obligated to
and by
cover.
the way, they
And it's like,
could have done the
oh.
dates. They could have done the dates.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, I found out later on that they were lying when I called and said, hey, because Jeff was like, oh, don't worry, I'll never leave you hanging. So when I would call him, he would say, oh, no, I'm sorry, I can't do it this weekend. So the guy, Rob, was living with me. He's like, this is like a brother, you know, living at my house. So I'm trudging to the gigs. Now he's my sound man / guitar player. So not only did I lose a band member, I lost the sound man. You know,
Oh, my God.
we had a tight little, you know, lean, mean fighting machine, you know.
which you need on Long Island.
Yes, and we did it great. It was a great little thing that we had, you know. So, but now I'm having to go set up all the gear by myself, break it all down, perform for 4 hours with a shitty band. So I would come home crying.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, I was hemorrhaging money just to keep it going. And this motherfucker sleeping in the bed upstairs, you know, as I'm coming home, like, having nervous breakdowns. And the fact that he didn't die at my hands,
That is amazing.
it's amazing. You know, listen, and to, in retrospect, I can see where my flaws are, and also I set myself up for it.
what a
just in
cathartic
business.
moment you're witnessing, Lori.
Yeah, I'm
This
seeing
is-
this
I'll
all
tell you what. I
purging out,
want
and
you.
I'm like,
I want you
You're
to
on the inside now.
I
You're on the
want
inside.
you.
like, you guys are all really super fragile. You need some T-Dog. Is it that time of the
Guys
night?
are
You're
super
very
fat.
emotional.
You know this. You know this about
You're
guys.
very emotional.
We
now.
are.
I get it.
We are.
I want you to consider this.
Yes.
And I want you to also consider this, because I came across a realization very early on. One band member years ago copyrighted something, and I was furious about it, because it was
What do you mean
not
copyrighted something? A song?
copyrighted you know, like like a group name that we were
Yeah.
using and we had all been part of, and he kind of like individually
Oh.
snuck away, and he copyrighted.
Like we said, the music business
but-
is not
but-
like the beer business.
But listen to me. Hear me out. And I was furious. And I said, you didn't bring that to the team. You didn't give us a chance to be a part of that. And then I realized something. And my rage went to a complete calmness. And I'm going to tell you why. I realized that the energy that we created could never be copyrighted.
Right.
I realized that piece of paper, without us together,
Right.
if I removed one single piece, the copyright
Chemistry's
would be worth less than a penny.
But that's a douchey thing to do on his end.
I
Yeah.
agree,
Yeah.
but the thing is, you can't own magic.
You're absolutely
can't
right.
own chemistry.
So
You
when
can't
when
own
it comes
chemistry.
The whole reason it worked, you can have a bunch of people who play the same instruments, who sing the same words, but it's not going to be the same
doubt.
show. Period. So
Right.
absolutely right.
So papers don't make
So
something
you-
great. So I wound
which is
up
probably
being,
why they used your image on the ad.
I wound up being. Well, I thought about
Yeah.
I thought
I
about
mean, it's
that
as simple
because
as that, really.
the shows that I was doing were theatrical shows with thousands of people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where the videos are taken from. So of course, you don't want to show.
Well, there you go.
A dive bar.
Again, there I go,
With
the
a new,
$7,500.
with a new singer in a dive bar. You want to show a theatrical experience and say, look, we're grandiose. But you can't show somebody that wasn't there
Perfectly
performing,
said.
right? Because he wasn't there. So you want to use this guy to say, look, if we're gonna
Yeah.
make money on this show, we gotta go with this video.
I do want to tell you guys something sad. I hope you know this, that as Van Halen got big from 80, 82, 83, 84, you know they took Michael Anthony out of copyright? Do you know he became just a paid player?
I heard
Were
that.
you aware of that?
No.
No.
When you look back and listen, because I purposely listened to the entire album, the first album, and I really listened to it. I put headphones on, and I wanted to give it that respect. The one thing that stands out, of course, besides Eddie's guitar playing, is that wondrous backing vocal
Yeah.
of Michael Anthony.
That
His bass playing is
that will
miraculous.
never be again. Magical.
How do
magical.
you? So you just exemplified that
Yes.
because you never heard it since,
You can.
No.
So you can.
and
own
there was
it.
no value put on it based on the decision I just told you about. No
Right.
value.
But people were very disappointed when they didn't get that experience.
I was disappointed.
Yeah, they
Definitely.
were. I mean,
Yeah, they were in love. People definitely had a love for him, in the band. He seemed like kind of the glue that held everybody together.
Still a lovable
Right.
guy.
Yeah.
I love
oh
the guy.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's what happens to bands. Again, just to
and
compare it
and
to
you
the
can't-
beer business.
You can't own magic.
Can't own the
when
chemistry,
we have a
can't own the
different
magic.
brewer or
Yeah.
even just a different staff in the tasting room, you can totally change the vibe of a
Yeah.
brewery. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Look at Blue Point. Blue Point. I love a lot of the people over there, but the vibe is a different vibe.
Yes.
It's a bigger space and there's a lot more people, and it's harder to have that intimate connection with the staff and the other people who are coming in because there's just so many. I mean, right now with COVID, we're not allowed to, but in general, is what I'm saying is that when you turn it into a larger company, it becomes a company. It's no longer a family and a home, and that small, able to be in charge of every aspect and be able to touch and feel and talk to and really experience it in a whole. So when it becomes it almost becomes too big. So when people change that dynamic, it changes the magic. What people loved about it was the XYZ. When you
Right.
change it and you add in different alphabet, it's different. It's not the same, and
Right.
everybody keeps going back expecting that same, and when they don't get it, it's very disappointing. It is a letdown.
Yeah, it's and I completely and 100% agree with that. Unfortunately, sometimes like I cherished my band, and I feel like I treated them well, and it was like a brotherhood. I don't think. I think from the lead singer, sometimes people do get jealous of us because they have the perception. But you put this thing together.
Mm-hmm.
You were always probably like I was. Like I put the band together. They joined New Life Crisis. It was already existing.
Okay.
And I don't think they had the same reverence.
I do know you now. Now I know. I know you. Your hair's all covered up.
Yeah, my hair's covered up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
I'll
have
talk to
his
you
eyes
later.
and his beard.
I'm sitting here going like,
He's
oh
Charles
my God,
Manson
he's
tonight.
in like costume over here. You look familiar. You sound familiar, and it's killing me. But as soon as you said yes, okay.
Yeah, I
Now
have
know.
I have a full beard right now. I'm gonna shave.
Oh,
it
you
soon.
didn't perform with the beard?
Yes.
Oh, never.
Oh, it was clean shaven.
A little scruff, but
Oh.
this is brand
I
new.
didn't
All right,
know that.
then we'll
Trying
talk
something-
later because I got tea, love. I got tea.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great.
All right, guys, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw this. That was a good. Did you have an ending to this, or is this to be continued too? Almost.
I think that it's ended because the promotional video is unlinked.
Right.
So I'm
So you
thinking
made a
that-
good point. If there's a copy, but then they'd have to be fighting the trend to do that. Like I said, an embed. See, I know
Well,
because
in
I
other
do
words,
this every day.
stay with
That
us.
embed took 3 seconds to do.
Right, stay with us for one.
Might have been the promoter that did it.
Right,
To be honest.
everyone knew. The promoter knew that I wasn't involved with the show. He knew what he was promoting, but at least what we had said and what we know is fair and true is that if another video comes up and it's the same one, then it's a copy of something, and you're still saying, look, we don't have what it takes to make this thing go without you, even though you're not going to be there.
But on another side, so sometimes promoters will want to promote an experience as well. So it may not have even been so much particularly about that you're going to be there, but if it was a theatrical
You said that,
show, that's what they might be looking to just promote. Not so much the band itself as the with that image. They're looking to say, we're going to have this kind of show. It's going to be a big show.
I agree with
and
you.
It's going to be big.
But the situation here is that thousands of people have gone
Right.
to multiple shows. I've had people tell me from out of state even. A guy told me, I've seen you, a guy from Connecticut said, I've seen you 13 times.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
And he was with his son. And I said,
Right.
you're from Connecticut? He goes, I saw you in Philly. I saw
Wow.
you in
Wow.
I saw you
Albany.
in I saw you in
The egg.
Massachusetts,
Nice.
like the egg. He started telling all and shows that I had forgotten. You know how it is.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I saw you in Freehold and Red Bank.
I
and
saw you at MSG in '77.
but
They're like, that wasn't me.
That was me.
so now it's more pertinent because now what you're realizing, what I'm really trying to say is that a guy and his son or someone that saw multiple shows and they see that video go, oh, that's the band. They don't know that you walked away, that a new singer.
Right.
They
Know
don't
nothing.
They don't know anything. All they
Right.
know is they go, I'm going to see Tommy. He's going to be at that show because that's his fucking video.
Right.
So
And I saw him at Patchogue Theater, and that's where
You're gonna look to your spouse and go, "That's the guy we saw, honey,
Yeah.
on the 12th show. Let's go see him again." You're absolutely right.
And then
Right.
the wife is going to say, honey, that's not him. And he's going to say, no, it might be him.
Yeah.
But we haven't even gotten to the best point. What when that first notice sung? And even if the guy is good, it doesn't matter. It's different.
It's going to be
Right.
different.
That's not
Right.
It's
good.
a different experience.
You know, a life thing right now, because it's dawning on me as we're talking about it. We're actually promoting the thing because we're giving it energy.
I'm
that-
happy about that.
That's a good point.
You know, and it
I'm
just,
happy
I mean,
about
it
it.
sucks, you know, but it's like, no, there's no such thing as bad press, you know?
But no, I'm happy about
point.
that. Listen, I'm not trying to hold you back. I'm saying win honestly.
No,
I'm saying if you
completely.
guys, but I'm also saying
I'm
if,
so
if
with
you
you,
have
dude.
if you have the goods, you should have recorded them and let people know that you have them.
Right.
But
Yes.
but we said this, and I'm still going back to this one aspect.
Yeah.
You're a singer. I'm a singer, right? I come into a new project with Kevin, okay, and I'm in the project for only a couple of months, and I go, Kevin, why is your website all over Thomas Dozier, and you don't have one fucking picture of me? I'm the new singer. Don't you love me? I mean, as a singer,
Yeah.
don't you want to say, look, where do I fit in? You guys are still promoting your old singer. When am I going to get my chance?
That's what I said, but that's the good news, bad news conversation. Like, good news is you're in the band. Bad news is you're not Thomas Dozier.
I'm just saying, like, as a singer,
You're not him.
Wouldn't you want
Just
your
put this mask on.
Wouldn't you want to say, guys, why aren't you putting me out there? I'm your new singer.
Absolutely.
As the singer only, I'm saying.
Yes, I
From
totally
his
agree.
perspective, he should be angry.
Absolutely.
Right.
100%.
He should be on my side and saying, hey, fucker, I'm fucking with you. Why the fuck am I not in that video?
Right. Did you guys ever find, like, when you did band pictures, the band would always break up? I stopped doing band pictures because every time we did a fucking band picture, somebody would leave. And they would beg me. They'd be like, well, why am I'm not in the band? You know, you're using those old photos. I'm like,
Right,
so I'd
that's
get a
what-
new
that's
fucking
what I'm
photo,
saying.
And the motherfucker would leave. So I was like, you know what? It's NLC. No faces are going to be shown.
Yeah. That's cool.
I stopped doing it for.
That's the way to go.
Yeah. Because a guy would leave, you know, and
Like we said, though, before, it's different because you're the singer.
Right,
I'm telling you right now.
It's really
If-
an intriguing subject because it can go so many ways.
Yeah, but in
Yeah.
other words, American pop or American rock, we know Paul, right? Now, New Live Crisis.
Right.
If he changed his bass player, people will say, I think that maybe they might not even know.
Is
They go,
that a different guy?
They go, is that
They
the
will-
same
yeah.
bass player? I don't know. Did he gain weight? But they go like, it's the
Right.
same fucking band because of Paul.
The front man.
We're engaged.
I learned that if they leave at the same time though, and the whole band is different, that
No,
kind of hurts a little bit.
Well, it's like calling oats. I don't know
That's not the
ever
same.
what
You
the,
don't know.
I don't
Is it
know.
the same
who
guy, or does he just look like that other guy?
But you know what I'm saying? With American music, right, it's based on that lead guy. And
Yes.
if you've done years of shows with that guy and you're still promoting him, people think like nothing has changed.
Yeah, sure.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Right, 100%.
In other
Well, if
words,
you're paying to see a show, so as a non-musician, and just in the entertainment industry in general, if you pay to see a show, if you go to a Broadway play, and they just like give you that playbill, and it goes, oh, now playing Hamilton
Right,
is
right.
Jonathan Schmohead,
But
and
everyone's
you're
like,
like, what? I waited 3 years to see Jonathan Schmohead.
understudy.
I want my money back. Yeah, it's that's what it is, because that one actor you want to
Well-
see.
well, this
the
is the other
actor.
thing. Someone made a good point, and they said, well, these are the things that happened. That's why it was such a dupe and a fraud, because people said, well, what if you would have gotten sick? And I said, yeah, but I left 12, 13, 14 months ago. So at that point, you should say, look, we had a project. This used to be the guy. We've replaced him with this guy. Just so you know, when you come, you're getting this whole different thing.
Right.
But they approach it like, well, if you see somebody different, we'll say, well, you know, some-
Lori makes a great point, though, and I don't want to take away personally from you as a friend or
Sure.
anything else. If we agree that this is a show, and this is a bigger subject to the promoter, by the way, and that you sat down in that Patchwork Theater seat and it said you're seeing the Led Zeppelin show, and there's an insert and it says Mr. Tom Dosier's not here today, but there's this, but neither have you agreed to that, and neither are you
Right.
part of the circle. But an interesting subject, if you wanted to remain in the show, if there is a show and we're not, yeah, it's a bigger subject.
well, let's stay with this. Mr. Tom Dosier is not here with us today, right? Because he left 14 months ago. In other words,
Yeah.
that's the caveat. It's,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
totally the caveat.
Yeah,
it's not,
yeah,
in
yeah.
other words, he's not here because he was never going to be here. You told people he was
Yeah,
coming.
but you don't have to tell everybody that. Too.
You know,
Just
so
go and spread
I-
the dirty laundry, why don't you?
I
You want
understand.
to be technical, he hasn't been here, but yeah.
I
14
understand.
months.
Yeah, yesterday, 14 months. How am I supposed to remember all that? God.
Because I know you have understudies when you get sick, but you didn't, that's not, but that's the way it seemed like it was getting played off. It's like,
I
well,
understand.
hey man, things, rock and roll's got to keep moving, bro.
Yeah.
The show must go on. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you knew I wasn't going to be
Right.
there.
Yeah, that's completely funny, dude. That's great. It's so great.
I feel there's going to be a continuation of this in some way, or both of you have continued to show what's going to happen here. I'm
Well, I
sure.
think more importantly for all of us is showing the backside, right?
Yeah.
The backside of music,
Underneath.
of bands, of craft beer,
Sure.
of filming, of things that happen that no one knows about. They go, well, I only see this. I only know that. I only drank that. I never knew that. There's a backstory to life, right?
Right.
Men in Space, the backstory.
Man,
A
says the
backstory. There's a backstory that no one knows. They go, wow, I never knew
Yeah.
that could even happen.
Yeah.
It fucking happens.
Yep.
Good stuff.
All right.
Good
All
stuff.
right. Have a great night. Thanks, Laura, for
Thank you.
really
guys.
educating us on beers. Paul, Thomas, not Tommy. Have a great night, guys.
Not Tom.
Not Tom.
Not
That's
Tom.
copyrighted.
And certainly not Robert Plant.
Not for 12 months.
Never.
Good night, guys.
Take care.
Good night.